this we can say that Wilsonian notion means, is it accurate to suggest that there is a revival of Wilsonian notion of efficiency within the context of corporate welfare state? Wilsonian notion of efficiency remains always part and parcel of public administration. There was only time when it was derailed, that was new public administration. During new public administration, the Wilsonian efficiency was rejected because they were talking more about social justice, effectiveness rather than efficiency. Otherwise, throughout the journey of public administration, there is Wilsonian notion of efficiency. This even efficiency in broad sense is also effectiveness. As one day we'll tell you that how efficiency promotes in broad sense. Because if you have efficiencies, it brings resourcefulness. If you have resourcefulness, it helps the state in achieving its objectives. This, if innovation नहीं होगा तो resource कहाँ से आएगा? Desert में तो resource होगा नहीं. But अगर efficiency है तो desert को ही resource बनाया जा सकता है. Isn't it? This efficiency, drip irrigation. The drip irrigation, you know that. Stubble burning चलने वाला है, चल रहा है, शुरू हो गया है 2 दिन से, isn't it? You know that it will go and purify all people's houses. The rural area is taking revenge from urban areas. So, but stubble burning is a problem in our country, not in their country. Right? Because they have technology. They have technology. By technology, they can ensure that there is no smoke. Yes. There is no smoke. So when there is no smoke, so they have multiple uses of those stubbles that you have. They can have its multiple uses in different aspects. What we are doing is burning it. Right. See, we do have also, but those things are very dispersed kind of things, you can say that. It's not available in majority case. Although lots of steps governments have taken, things have been to, let's say, reducing also. But let's say it's just complete, let's say they have corporate type of farming, they will still not pollute their environment. In that sense we are talking, right? It is because of innovations. Right? Innovations result into efficiency. Or efficiency results into innovation. Innovation results into resourcefulness. We have huge land, but you know that how much productivity we have. And productivity, even if you have, so bumper crop means bumper failure. Farmers के लिए bumper crop means तो वो ये बोलता होगा ना कि bumper ना हो, थोड़ा नीचे ही रहे. Perishable things, 30%. So those all, let's say perishable food grain, etc., vegetables, they get perished. 30 to 40%. Why? You don't have efficient transportation system. Storage facilities are not there. Right. Storage facilities are there, you keep in storage and forget that you kept at all. Right. This, अगर पिछले जन्म में आपने कुछ अच्छा किया होगा तो आपको बैक मिलेगा, रिटर्न मिलेगा इंटैक्ट, isn't it? लोग ऐसे ही सोचते हैं. नहीं मिला तो उन्होंने सोचा कि पिछले जन्म में कुछ हमने गलत किया होगा. ऐसे होता है. So efficiency, right? Anyhow, let's write it. These are some questions which we'll talk after talking new public management. Plus, we'll take questions also, UPSC questions. Since already we are taking UPSC questions, no need to write. But yes, once they ask this question. Yes. What is new in new public management? Yes. So this, once they have asked this also, neo-Taylorism in their question, that way also they have asked, and that also they have used this right? Steer, not rower. That type of question also. Not exactly in this way, but now. So, context already you know. Already we have talked all those things. So, they are the context. Yes. Context starts with new right, philosophy, new liberal philosophy, public choice approach, NPG. So, that is how the context. Then, if context remains the same, so then how it is different, isn't it? And how or why it came that time. Basically, when these things happen, so a new school of thinkers, so they started publishing their works. Should know that the publication of their works, research, which always we say कि चूंकि इंडिया में ये सब कल्चर नहीं है तो हमें इसका सिग्निफिकेंस समझ में नहीं आएगा, right? But you should know that all those developments in the discipline are linked to either publication of a book or publication of a research paper or any such journal, etc. This, so those things are academics. Let's say that. So Osman and Gabler, they published their work, which will talk, and then Pollitt, let's say, published his work, and similarly Christopher Hood and other thinkers, he also belongs to public choice approach. He is a critic to also new public management. In public administration or academicians, one beauty is that they support also, they criticize also. This you should understand. So you should not have in mind that how he can support also, he can criticize also. This. So that can have different perspective. He coined the term NPA, means NPM. So the term new public management was given by Christopher Hood in his paper. The term neo-Taylorism was given by Pollitt. Neo-Taylorism. And the term reinvention was given by Osman and Gabler. You can consider that new public management was a technical response, a more objective response, a theoretical response, a tool type of response of whatever the development started since public choice approach. Yes. So it tried to, let's formulate a theory, or let's say that a technique which can be applied in organizations, means public organizations, so that they can solve their problems of efficiency. This public choice approach was trying to say that the market is more efficient. Hence you bring market. New public management advances that, but at the same time it also says how state can also bring efficiency. That is its newness. Public choice approach is not concerned. Bureaucracy is to damn with bureaucracy, isn't it? If bureaucracy is self-embezzlement, so इसको हटाओ, भगाओ इसको. Right? Debureaucratization. They are not saying कि how to make bureaucracy efficient. They are not saying how to make state efficient. They are saying state and bureaucracy, so you limit them and give the role to market, since market is more efficient. But new public management says that, at the same time it says that we have to make state also efficient. And how to make state efficient? So it is new public management way. So this is what they were trying to highlight in their papers, that state should make itself efficient. And how it should make itself efficient? The state should also become like private sector enterprise. Right. State should become like enterprise. Prime Minister should become like entrepreneur, Elon Musk. So this is what I was saying. Prime Minister should become entrepreneur, ताकि सबको remove कर दे job से, isn't it? Right. Anyhow, so this is a difference you can, let's say that, understand between public choice approach, new public management, although we'll talk it separately, so you'll understand it. So they started talking. So how they want to bring efficiency in administration, that is called bureaucracy. The bureaucracy should behave like managers. Bureaucracy should become managers. It means the government should bring, this is how Wilson was talking, once again they are trying to say like, the government should become business-like. Yes, business-like. But they have difference from Wilson. That's why we have separately written what is the difference. Wilson was not talking very clearly how to make business-like. NPM is making it clear what is business-like. It is clear on that. So what is business-like? How bureaucracy can become business-like? NPM is saying that every organization should have standardization of its work. Work standards should be defined. Everyone's work should be defined. Everyone's performance standards should be defined. And then there should be performance evaluation standard matching to performance standard, and then the performance will be evaluated as per performance standard. And on the basis of evaluation of performance standard, they should be incentivized. Means they should be, let's say that, kept in organization on the basis of performance, not on the basis of public service motive. This, as of now, once you get a job in bureaucracy, once you become IAS, you can only retire if you want. This means after 60 years, right, government cannot remove you. Even we say God cannot remove you. This, अभी इस क्लास में हमने बोला नहीं है, बोला है? देखो, public employment का मतलब होता है absolute job security. Absolute job security means even God cannot remove. लोगों को ये भी पता है, अब हमारा कोई कुछ बिगाड़ नहीं सकता. The day people get job, they feel liberated. Right? Liberated, isn't it? They feel liberated. Not that they have to work from tomorrow. Right? From tomorrow, life is secure even if I do not work. That's why there is no performance appraisal. आपके घर में कोई अगर होगा गवर्नमेंट में तो पूछना आपका लास्ट टाइम कब परफॉर्मेंस अप्रेजल हुआ था. Right? तो कोई परफॉर्मेंस अप्रेजल नहीं होता. Right? No performance evaluation, isn't it? No performance standard ही नहीं है तो evaluation क्या होगा? और अगर इवेल्युएशन भी होता था तो उसका अभी तक नाम था एनुअल कॉन्फिडेंशियल रिपोर्ट। मतलब परफॉर्मेंस का रिपोर्ट है, कॉन्फिडेंशियल क्यों? this but they say it annual confidential report. So those people who work in, अब तो थोड़ा सा गवर्नमेंट काफी you know that कि मोदी जी ने मार मार के काम करवाना शुरू किया है, sorry to say that. So things have changed, let's say, but till recent time you should know that those people who work in government, they know that there is no performance standard, there is no performance evaluation, this, and they are paid in the name of public service. This NPM is trying to bring change in this, that there should be performance contract, right? And you should continue to work in the organization on the basis of performance. Promotion should be on the basis of performance. This reward should be on the basis of performance. That's why most of the countries have reformed their civil service. India is the only country where there is no link between work and pay in government sector. This is should know. All other countries have brought link between work and pay, but we are the only major country where work and pay link is not there. People derive salary at the end of the month without even, because this is the culture. Even ministers and members of parliament also derive their salary at the end of the month, even if parliament has not functioned. Isn't it? So these are some bigger questions, but they are trying to bring change from inside organization. The new public management is more going inside organization. This public choice approach was trying to address outside organization. That and rather it was dependent on private sector. But new public management is trying to bring these changes inside organization, and that is how it is technique oriented, it is managerial oriented. Why? Because it thinks that if you make bureaucrats managers, so managers are good people. It has so much trust in managers. Right. If you make bureaucrats professionals, managers, then they will perform. And that is how managerialism became another wave, a new wave in public administration. The neo-taylorism is nothing but managerialism. The managerialism means is nothing but the managerial quality, let's say that you give them autonomy, give them performance standard, evaluate their performance, and there will be, let's say, improvement in efficiency. That is how also lateral entry has been introduced. You may be familiar with lateral entry. The lateral entry has also been introduced because of this. So that is what we can say related, since already you know the contact aspect, so that we don't have to explain. And this will, while dictating, we will talk. Hence, they published their, let's say, reinvention. Let me write reinvention of government. Yes. So, when reinvention of government was published in 1992, new public management emerged. Yes. Yes. Reinvention of government, 1992. ऐसा कोई वर्ड होता नहीं है, तो you can correct. Reinvention, isn't it? Yes. Anyhow, so let's write on this. The developments influenced by new right philosophy and public choice approach ultimately gave rise to new public management as the most dominant paradigm of contemporary public administration. Which also gave rise to sixth paradigm of public administration. It also had most profound impact on public administration that resulted into its reinvention. Context of emergence of new public management. Under the influence of public choice approach, LPG, structural adjustment program, Washington consensus, There were developments in Western countries, which were analyzed. There were developments in developed countries which were analyzed, studied by a new school of thinkers, as mentioned above. In their publications, they highlighted relevance of managerialism in public administration. Managerialism in public administration. So much so that it became a new wave. Of reforms. New wave for reforms. Reforms in Western countries. Like UK and US. The publication of Osborne and Gabler book. The reinvention of government. Profoundly influenced the field of new public management. as they forcefully argued. They forcefully argued so whether any thinker view can have so much influence. You should know that they did have influence that time. So the statement, it says so many things. It talks about we don't need big government, but largely governments are big and they lack better governance. Can we say? अभी भी गवर्नमेंट का स्ट्रेंथ जो है 70 मिनिस्ट्री डिपार्टमेंट्स, 70 मिनिस्ट्री डिपार्टमेंट में यूएस के 3 गवर्नमेंट बन जाएंगे. Generally they have 30 around ministry departments. This वो अपने देश के लिए तो बनाते नहीं है. US government is not for US. It is government of world. This. So the question is comments. You can see that anywhere you find that governments are big, but they govern less. Better governance. This is how they are saying that we don't need big government, rather we need better governance. Better governance is related to efficiency part. Then next line is definition of governance, which we'll use when we'll take governance topic. The governance is a collectively solving problems of society. But states have been largely trying to solve problems themselves. Unilaterally, isn't it? They love it. You will also like it. DM Sahab, isn't it? So this, so this is the culture, let's say. So they try to But problems should be solved in collective way, in participative manner. Then they talk about this. The government is the machinery, we use it. It is outdated. Outdated, and they are not writing for India. Imagine they are writing for US. They are writing for Western countries. तो हमारे कॉन्टेक्स्ट में तो डबल ट्रिपल आउटडेटेड अप्लाई होगा, isn't it? देखिए हमारा रूट तो जाता है 1773 लक्ष्मीकांत रेगुलेटिंग एक्ट. नो, नाम तो सुना होगा आपने, लक्ष्मीकांत. ठीक है, चलो कांत लक्ष्मी भी सुन लेना. सो दिस इज व्हाट विल फाइंड. रूट इंडियन पिनल कोड, इंडियन पुलिस एक्ट 1861. It's of Guinness Book of World Record. Anyhow, तो एग्जाम्पल हमने दिया होगा एक इरिगेशन प्रोजेक्ट महाराष्ट्र में जो बन रहा है, राइट, 84 से बन रहा है वो, राइट. तो लगता है पूरे वर्ल्ड का इरिगेशन प्रोजेक्ट बना रहे हैं. Anyhow, so the question is this, let's say that governments, so when they are talking in US context, Western countries, you can imagine their government, we glorify them, we appreciate them, right? They are being told outdated. Right? This outdated, it is outdated, remake it, reinvent it. That was a very popular statement by Osborne and Kapler. And reinvention term you can often hear in government language, in government resources you can say this. Often we use, like 5th pay commission title was also reinvention. This, when it gave recommendation. So reinvention became a new term, let's say that, reinventing government, reinventing government. Reinventing is restructuring government. This. And that is how it resulted into new public management. And they gave also features, etc., which we'll talk when we'll take features of that. So let's write on this. The idea of better governance rather than big government. Big government was nothing but advocacy of minimal government, minimal state. Or a government which governs the least is the best. A government which governs the least. A government which governs the least is the best. The government that governs the least is the best. That is, best government is the least government. Best government is the least government. That's it. Characteristics of new public management. Characteristics of new public management. Same. Yes. Minimal government means power goes to corporate. It is a corporate state. It started coming since public choice approach. Yes. because it is influenced by that. It is, let's say, in a way, it is culmination of public choice approach. This we can say. Right? So within 3 characteristics, we can house other characteristics, you can say that. Like say privatization, marketization, managerialism, and regulation and facilitation. Marketization, already we have talked related to public choice approach. And this example can also be considered. These things are a bit new. Basically, this one is a bit new, let's say that. That can be also not new, but yes. It gives emphasis on regulation and facilitation. Regulatory role, it is, let's say, characteristics like the state when it starts privatizing, it starts privatization, liberalization, so it will have to regulate and create, it should have facilitation. The regulation is related to creating competition and facilitation is related to ease of doing business. This, when you have ease of doing business, then business will come. Right. Business will enter in that sector. Otherwise, there will be no any takers. When you go for any bidding, there will be no anyone, means people will not apply, business will not apply. When they know that there may not be return on that. This, so that can be. The state should play the role of steerer rather than rower, let's say that. The steerer is something, when you use the term steerer, the steerer is related to creating a facilitatory environment. Creating, let's say that, a business friendly environment. So, business friendly environment can be created by taking some, let's say that, measures can be related to regulatory reforms, legal reforms, bringing infrastructure. So, when you develop infrastructure, so those things result as facilitator and those things catalyze the process. Right, like say businessmen, what businessmen want? They want that they should have less number of laws and regulations. So there are several different types of regulations related to registration of the company, related to, let's say, taxation, related to other companies' laws, rules, all these things they have to comply. So they should not be overburdened by all those things. Plus, they need better infrastructure. This you can understand by the fact, suppose you may be familiar with Bihar state, especially people, those who are not from Bihar. No? Are you familiar? Yes. Suppose you are given task to bring FDI in Bihar, what you will do? You will resign. Right. First, right. Right. Internet connection. बेहतर है सेक्शन 144 ही लगा दो पहले. Right. Basically, first thing you'll have to focus is law and order, which they are not talking basically, right? Because they not belong to legal branch, right? So first you have to create law and order, yes, and then you have to create infrastructure. It does not have proper infrastructure, right? You should know that. City infrastructure, investors, when they will go, investors will go. So they should have, let's say that, get proper facilities, let's say, staying facilities, their business, security, those things you can consider. So you have to develop infrastructure, you have to have favorable policies related to. You have to guarantee that when they invest, they will get return. This. They will get return means it will generate business over there. This. So it is very challenging, let's say that. These things you have to do rather than you do yourself business. Right. What governments were doing is that they themselves have laid down industries. They themselves are running industries, trying to generate job, this, and still they are trying to do that. This. So this is what we can consider. That is how the challenge. So they are not saying that you should do direct business. And these things are even challenging, let's say, when you have to develop infrastructure, quality of infrastructure. Why, let's say that business in, you can say, type 2 city has not flourished. Largely businesses will find that are concentrated in our capital, let's say that some mega 4-5 cities. This Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Chennai, Bangalore. This is what we will say this. Isn't it? To some extent, Noida also, Yogi ji ko chhodna nahi hai. Right. So that is how. So the question is, why it is? So if you go to type 2 cities, they do not have proper infrastructure. This infrastructure, road, transportation, other things will find this. They do not have proper infrastructure. Hence, they may not attract business. Rather, you will not be attractive. Means youth class is also not attractive. Right. Youth class is more attracted by these 4 mega 5 cities, or let's say that foreign countries. Get it? आजकल एक walking point हो गया है दुबई. Right. लोग सुबह सुबह walk करके आते हैं. This is another. So this is to know that. So Reliance has built its, let's say that, foreign office in Dubai. Anyhow, so infrastructure, let's say, that is how they were talking that time. You develop, and they were not talking for India. They were talking for Western countries. That is how it is suitable. So this way we can consider. But main newness is this. This is how they talk about inside organization, how government should itself change. The new public management is talking about what government should do, what government should not do, and how government should do this. So they say that the business of the government is not to do business. This you should know that. This is a very popular line, you know. The business of the government is not to do business. This. And whatever the business does, it should do like business. Right. So whatever the business it does, it should do like business. And the area which it does not have to do business, it should regulate and facilitate. It should behave like steerer rather than mover. That is how the characteristics you can consider. What does it mean? It is a bit complex. We'll explain you gradually. So when it says, let's say, neo-Taylorism and this, what is Taylorism? Then you first understand performance management, hands-on government and arm's length organization. MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, you may be understanding, right? See, managerialism, or let's say when we say managers, why managers perform? Why managers are able to perform in corporate sector? Performance is incentivized. So, see, first thing is that their performance standards are defined. What they have to do, when they have to do, how they have to do. Their nature of work, task is defined, it is standardized, that is how I was saying. but nature of task and work in government is not defined. Know that? So college का ही आपको experience है, isn't it? तो कॉलेज में टीचर आकर के क्या पढ़ाते हैं? You know it 45 minutes का क्लास होता है, उसके बाद बच्चों का माइंड वर्क नहीं करेगा, राइट? इसलिए 45 मिनट्स का ही क्लास रखा गया. इधर भी पीएससी में 3-3 घंटे का क्लास होता है विदाउट ब्रेक. टेस्ट डिस्कशन तो 5-5 घंटे का होता है, वो भी विदाउट ब्रेक. दिस डू यू नो दिस? जो टेस्ट डिस्कशन होता है मेंस वाला, ऑप्शनल के है, वो 5 घंटे का होता है विदाउट ब्रेक, राइट? और जिसको चाहिए ब्रेक वो बाहर जा सकता है. Anyhow, so the question is that the work standards are not defined. So when work standards are not defined, how can you evaluate? The evaluation also will not be done properly. When evaluation is not done, for what you will reward? The reward is also not given. Right? Reward is given honorary. Once not you, means once people develop, let's say Alzheimer, there's Parkinson disease, or let's say they are in wheelchair, or they go by this to receive Padma Bhushan, उसको पता ही नहीं है वो कहाँ है, right? So reward is given when he does not need it. Reward should be given. अरे उसको 10 साल पहले दिया होता है, right? So motivate हुआ होता है, isn't it? Now he has lost his memory. Sorry to say that. This is public sector, right? Anyhow, so incentives are less. Incentives have their negative side, but that is how you'll find that tasks are not defined. Another important factor is that they don't get autonomy. Bureaucrats lack autonomy. That's why they are also not able to perform. This. Managers get autonomy. वो बोल देता है अपने बॉस को, कोई इंटरफियर नहीं करेगा. I will give you performance, but don't interfere. Otherwise, I will not do that. ऐसे negotiation होता है, right? I need this number of people. I need my own office. I need these essentials. This is how they say. And organization is ready to give. Because organization को क्या चाहिए? Performance. If you give us performance, we'll give you whatever you are demanding. Right? यहाँ पर न तो टेबल सही है, न चेयर सही है, जन कंप्यूटर को ऐसे मारना पड़ता है 2-4 बार, इसको चलेगा, right? And you have to perform, right? Anyhow, resource scarcity you have, right? And you cannot demand for resource. And you know, right, Ashok Khemka, isn't it? He has been transferred more than 50 times in less than 30 years of service. Right. And new emerging record is by Prabhakar Chaudhary. Right. So Prabhakar Chaudhary is, let's say now new emerging Khemka. Right. So already 22 times he has been transferred. This you should know that. Young officer in Uttar Pradesh. So autonomy they are not given, you know, political interference, you know, doctrine of committed bureaucracy. That is how they talk hands-on government. Hands-on government means they should be given autonomy. Government should keep hands off, let's say, basically. So they should be given autonomy. Right? Arm's length organization means you keep distance from your department to their department. The ministry departments are those who control. They should have distance from those who perform. There should be separation, rather than strict control. So this is called Memorandum of Understanding. The Memorandum of Understanding is a tool of hands-on government and arm's length organization. Like Memorandum of Understanding is signed between public sector undertaking and ministry and department. They give an undertaking that for 1 year ministry will not interfere in your work. This means 1 year you will be given free time, we will not talk to you. This in your day-to-day operation. And after 1 year we will evaluate your performance on the basis of these standards. This hence those standards become basis for autonomy. So 1 year they will not be interfered by the ministry. So 1 year they are free to take decision, operate themselves, and after end of the year then ministry will evaluate their performance. If performance they achieve, they are incentivized. If performance they do not achieve, then accordingly let's say measures can be taken. So MOU is the basis for categorization. MOU is also a criteria for categorization of Mini Ratna, Navratna and Maharatna. This. So this is how the idea of, you can say, Memorandum of Understanding or Managerialism. Recently, Government of India started Gati Shakti initiative. You should know that. Gati Shakti is an example of hands-on government and arm's length organization. This is how they were trying to address problem of administration from inside, especially its problem of efficiency. So is it different from public choice approach? Does it look different from public choice approach? It is different because of this. And these characteristics we see as neo-Taylorism, means it is something extension of Taylor. The Taylor had talked all these things in a different way, which one day will teach Taylor, you will understand this. The Taylor was a person who believed in hire and fire. If you perform, you continue. If you are not performing, you are fired. This performance orientation. This. It means that NPM will introduce in government not permanent based job, rather performance based job. And it is NPM which introduced new pension scheme. New pension scheme is also based on that. Nowadays debate is going on. Old pension scheme versus new pension scheme. This. And these are, let's say, the characteristics you can consider of new public management, which in a way you know that it is also now providing solution to traditional problem of administration, hence it will become very influential. Yes, and that is how most of the administrations of this world, most of the countries underwent reforms. This, which will talk in impact. So let's write on this. The characteristics of new public management. Public management became so popular that they have been adopted. They have been adopted by most of the countries. In their administrative reforms. Like public choice approach, new public management also rejected first public interest welfare concept public interest and welfare concept. Next, subsidies provided through various schemes and programs. Next, politics administration dichotomy. Next, bureaucratic type governance. Same paragraph. NPM strongly believes in efficiency approach. That it advocates the government should not only spend but also earn which needed user charges concept. That people should pay for the services. Services should not be given free. Right? So what does it mean? That is how user charges. So this is some other aspect, let's say that, some other characteristics you can consider. So government should not only serve, but it should also earn. And government should not only, let's say that, means government should not give services free, rather it should charge for the services. And people should not seek services free, rather they should pay for the services. All these user charges concept that you get, like power supply, water supply, gas supply. So these largely we have gone for, let's say, metering this. And metering system has tried to bring this user charges concept. They were also talking reducing subsidies. This you can consider how we have cross subsidization. Although ours is a country which loves, that, subsidies and free services. No, metro and bus, women, let's say, services free. You love it, like it? No, allow नहीं किया क्या? मतलब भगा दिया था क्या किसी दिन? अच्छा नहीं लगा. मैं समझा कि हो सकता है विमेन कंपार्टमेंट में पहुंचे होंगे. सो भगा दिया. अच्छा. तब सीट भी कंपल्सरी है. तो बैठने नहीं देते. तब से छोड़ दिया. अपना बस चल रहा है क्या? So it's women empowerment, isn't it? Right. So we will not talk more on that. But ultimately, let's say that you empower people so that they can pay themselves first. And you should have adequate transportation system so that it is available for all. This should be. That should be the aspect. Although complete aspect of freebies cannot be, yesterday we were saying, cannot be eliminated. But user charges, ours is a country, still we give lots of things free. You should know that Punjab farmers are given lots of subsidies. This, और वो कोई ले नहीं सकता. Their lobby is so strong that you cannot talk of taking it back. Right, isn't it? जाने लेने के लिए पंजाब जाना पड़ेगा, लड़ना. So, but it is not, let's say, right practice. Society should. इसका मतलब क्या, पंजाब आज से जब से सब्सिडी देना शुरू किया आज तक कभी उनका सिचुएशन सेम है? They have not improved. So that we should continue this. Right. Anyhow, but that is related to society, not this public administration here. But this is what they are saying, that user charges concept. We should pay for the services that you get. If you will not pay for the services you get, service will not be efficient. It is very clear. That's why transportation is not efficient. Government started running public transportation at very cost-effective rate. But long run में पैसा आएगा कहाँ से? Public transportation, state buses, roadways bus, बैठ जाओ, जाएगा destination पे तो ठीक है. धीरे धीरे लोगों ने जाना ही बंद कर दिया. But they cannot close it, shut them down. So that is how they are incurring losses. उसी तरह से Indian Railway, you know it better. Right. Time to time, new trains are run so that you will not have pain of, right, old trains, isn't it? And right, their inefficiency. But ultimately, the fare that they charge is less. Still, it is less. You should charge more fare. This. Nowadays, things have changed. There was a time that the fare was not reviewed because of subsidies. So this kind of, let's say that they are trying to talk about user charges concept. Means government should earn, it should not only spend. This you can say. Now let's say impact of new public management. Both public administration as a discipline, both public administration as a discipline and public administration as a discipline and as an institution came under profound influence of new public management act. First, the discipline of public administration. Experience a new paradigm. Next, the discipline since 1990s. Has remained under NPM influence that all theoretical developments directly or indirectly are influenced by new public management. Including post-NPM models. As an institution, changing paragraph, as an institution, it experience reforms in most of the countries. As an institution, it experienced reforms in most of the countries like US, National Performance Review. National Performance Review. National Performance Review. It was a reform movement initiated. It was a reform movement initiated in US on the basis of a paper published on the recommendation of Al Gore, which characteristics was a government which costs less and works more. A government which costs less and works more. It has become a legacy in US. It has become a legacy of US for promoting efficiency in administration. Next step, agencies in UK. Next step, agencies in UK. That first, in UK ministries and departments, reforms were introduced on the principle of hands-on government and arm's length organization. Hands-on government and arm's length organization, which success gave rise to a phenomenon known as agencification. Next, Citizens Charter. Citizens Charter. It was first initiated in UK. UK, for improving quality of service. See, when we say agencyfication, so NPM basically wants that you should have either you give autonomy like business type, or if you create new types of agencies, they should have autonomy like business type. So either you, let's say, go for, let's say, the way we have MOU for PSUs, this you can say, or let's say that we create in our country also, we have a special purpose vehicle. This, like say, smart city. Smart city mission. Under smart city mission, we have special purpose vehicle created under the Companies Act, and its head is known as CEO. It is given autonomy in terms of, let's say, bringing investment, bringing change in the, let's say, that for that city, policies so that it can attract investment. Then it is, let's say, investment, monitoring of the investment, this evaluation of the investment. It is given complete power to manage that smart city, manage it, develop it, bring investment, all those things. So it has a business approach. It is possible only when the special purpose vehicle is given as that business type of, let's say, that characteristics. And that is how we are trying to bring development in a smart city. Similarly, government creates, let's say, that other similar types, let's say that. One popular is that nowadays there are state, let's say, medicine corporation. There can be state medicine corporation. Like Tamil Nadu Medicine Corporation, it became very popular, very successful. When Tamil Nadu Medical Corporation means Tamil Nadu Medicine, yes. Tamil Nadu Medicine Corporation became very popular, successful. Its model has been followed by Kerala also, by Uttar Pradesh also. Medicine Corporation role is to ensure that in the state there is adequate supply of medicines in hospitals, chemists, whatever that you have. It ensures, let's say, that adequate stock of medicines, various types of medicines in that state. This, especially for public hospitals. And it has been created with a business approach. Business approach means it is given autonomy. This. So ARC second has also recommended in our country that we should also go for agencyfication type of reforms. This. So when we'll take ministry departments, by the time you will understand, and there also we'll refer this agencyfication model. It is one such, let's say, that legacy you can consider or important outcome of new public management which still we follow. And that is how we mean by what, let's say, this. It has also become, the way NPR has become the legacy of US, next step agencies have become legacy of UK. Now they have completed more than 2 decades, you know that. 2 decades of that, so they have gone from generation 1 to generation 2 also. This we can consider. Then next, European Union. European Union has Quality Service Initiative. So let's try that. European Union initiated Quality Service Initiative to promote Quality Service Initiative to promote efficiency in European countries. Next. Japan. In Japan, it is known as total quality management. Total quality management. Malaysia, Pemando. This performance management and delivery unit. Performance management and delivery unit. According to UNDP, it is one of the most successful initiatives. According to UNDP, it is one of the most successful initiatives in developing countries. And then India, new economic policy. Yes. It is one of the most successful initiatives in developing countries. India already, you know that. Yourself you can write. Since we'll teach again and again, isn't it? You can write it. So let's write that. The influence of new public management. The influence of new public management were found, means the influence of new public management during 1990s was found in both developed and developing countries. Developed and developing countries, including New Zealand, Australia, African countries, etc. The initiatives by such countries have also been evaluated to understand the impact of new public management in actual practice. So we'll talk that while talking criticism. So this is how we'll find that the impact. So public choice approach may not have a specific, let's say, the way we are talking about new public management. The new public management has very specific initiatives, its impact. This you can find in different countries, which we can link, although they can also be in general considered also. Impact of public choice approach, impact of LPG, you can link in generic sense, but they are more linked to public management, means new public management. And then we have to talk about criticisms. So let's start criticisms. At least beginning will do. Taylor will give today, isn't it? So what criticisms we can have? Apart from, don't talk public choice approach criticisms. Already those criticisms will be also applicable to new public management. What other criticisms we can have? तो क्या प्रॉब्लम है? Any other? Lack of intervention. Like, which type of lack of intervention? No, it is not like that. Whatever the criticisms we gave for public choice approach, that will apply. In addition to that, first thing is that, let's say that it talks about customer orientation and client orientation, which we have not given emphasis while talking. Features, let's say that. When it says that performance measurement, performance, let's say Taylorism, etc., neo-Taylorism. So it is true, but these things were based on principal-agent theory. Some other dimensions we'll add tomorrow when while talking. So what they are saying, performance. So can we say that the relation that in private sector, manager and the employer, that is the company, they have, can we have the same type of relation in public administration? Yes. Like manager has to return profit to the company. There is a principal agent theory. The principal is the employer, that is the company. Agent is the manager, and the manager has to return profit to company. In government sector, let's say the principal agent. The agent is government, principal is government, people. People are here master. People are not agent. And bureaucrats cannot be also considered agent. Here the relationship is master-servant rather than principal-agent. Right. And master is people, servant is government. And government does not have to return profit to people. Government has to serve to people. This serving to people is different and profit earning is different. This we can say. So this way we have to see the conceptual aspect. So principal agent theory cannot be applied to public administration. Then when we say performance, performance would be perverted. The day you make performance as basis to evaluate in government sector, there is a huge challenge. Private sector is a small entity. Private sector is a small entity. Like we can say that we have a private school. The private school, it is a small, one institution. Right. And it can be 5 institutions, 5, let's say, groups of institutions. But government is a big entity. So can that institution be run like private institution? It is not. Government does not have only staffing pattern for Delhi University. It will have a staffing pattern for entire universities, all the universities. It cannot have, let's say, only for one university. But MIT University can have its own pattern for only one university because it is one. So, and there it has the employer. Employer is an entrepreneur. Government is not an entrepreneur. Largely, governments are headless institutions. Headless in the sense that those who are head, they will be for 2 years, for 3 years, maximum 5 years. Then you will keep changing. The head of the government organizations kept changing. But their head of the private organization, he is an entrepreneur, a company owner. He continues to have the presence. Government also keeps changing. The government also keeps changing 5 years. At best, you can have 10 years. Their policies also keep changing. So we cannot have the same type of relationship you want. And if you have performance-based, it has its own consequences. This you can say. Government cannot become ad hoc institution. Right. We understand in this way so that we finish it. Suppose National Security Advisor resigns today because he has got a job in US. Right? Isn't it? So he's had on contract basis 2 years. Right? और better job मिला तो छोड़ दिया. यही तो हो रहा है, isn't it? You go get a job and you got offer in UAE. This. So bond payment भी देने के लिए तैयार है कंपनी. Contract मतलब यह कोविड कैसे आया पता चला कि half civil servants resign. Isn't it? Disaster आया पता चला कि जो head of disaster management वही resign कर दिया. Isn't it? You have to understand. State, isn't it? State is different from business. Right? एक business entity का CEO resign कर देगा तो उसको disaster नहीं manage करना है. Hey, they don't have to face the complex challenges. Let's say state is not always in business. State is in many such business which when business cannot do that. This business cannot do that, and managers cannot be considered replacement of bureaucrats. Already yesterday we have told you on this. Managers cannot be considered replacement of bureaucrats. If you recruit those managers in civil services, experiment करके देख लेते हैं. Right, most of them will resign within a month. Yes, because you have to work in a very harsh conditions with no resource available. कभी भी कोई डीएम फोन करके नहीं बोलेगा प्राइम मिनिस्टर से कि हमारा चेयर टूटा हुआ है. Right, this you should know this. You have to work in that scarce resource and you have to perform. Rather than complaining that these resources are not there, hence we were not able to perform. This, that is how the challenge. So there are lots of constraints you have, you should know that.